easily.
So I'm here with the esteemed Ben Reed, who is representing MeasureQuick. So tell us a little bit about MeasureQuick.
Well, MeasureQuick is the only smart tools app that is pretty much universally compatible. So the majority of smart tools that you have out there, including TEC, UEI, Fieldpiece, Testo, AccuTools, they all connect to a single app. Small team out of Ohio, they spent countless hours making all of those different protocols, different interfaces all work together. And then that's like the base layer. On top of that, there's all the diagnostics, all the calculations, all the best practices that Jim's built in to make sure that pretty much every tech has access to the same level of diagnostics. And on top of that, it comes with all of its own built-in in-app training. Then every single sort of problem that you could run into, it gives you contextual information, and even like links out to HVAC school, links to help that technician deeply understand in the moment what they're dealing with and how to fix it. And then even beyond that, we have all these layers of business tools to help HVAC businesses reduce their callbacks and increase their profits. So we've got remote streaming of all of that diagnostic data, like all the smart tool data can be streamed anywhere to any kind of service manager to help solve a problem remotely. And then there's CRM integration, so that all.
So what does this mean to my customers?
Who are your customers?
Who are my customers? Homeowners.
Oh, for the homeowners.
Yeah.
Why the homeowners should care is because
why should they care?
all of this leads to a standardized scoring system for your HVAC in your house. And so if your technician doesn't come in and give you an HVAC Vitals score, then how do you know that they did their job right? Because how many times have you actually gone to talk with an HVAC company, you have a tech come in, they take a look at the system, and they tell you something that's wrong with it. And then you get another tech to come in and give you a second opinion, a third opinion, and they all say something different. That should never happen. That means that there's something broken in the industry. And so that's exactly what the HVAC Vitals does, is that the HVAC Vitals report that a MeasureQuick technician is able to produce to you is a score of 0 to 100. It's a report card of exactly how your system is doing using empirical evidence. So no longer is it that you have a tech that's been in the field for 5 years who's just learning their trade, or a tech that's been doing it for 30 years who has a whole bunch of bad habits. It's now you get the same quality and the same predictable outcomes because you know that the technician follows standard procedures, they use calibrated tools, and that it now has a score that you can compare over the lifetime of your system. Every time you get a service, you can actually get a report card of how your system is doing and compare it to how it was doing before. So no longer is there this, he said, she said, hearsay of what needs to get done with your system. You now have the control and the power to be able to look at the data. Like, they will even give you all the measurements if you wanted to ask for it. Now you can look at the data and say that I want to make the decision of repair versus replace.
So you're thinking that people should only use companies that use MeasureQuick?
It's a little more nuanced than that, but that is why I work with MeasureQuick, is because I believe in Jim Bergman's mission and vision, that there is such a lack of standardized practices in residential HVAC that there shouldn't need to be this sort of like pain that all these homeowners experience when they it's a complete crapshoot of like whether or not you're going to get somebody who knows what they're doing. The software itself has made it so nobody ever has to experience that type of uncertainty or that type of poor experience of paying for something that they needed but didn't get, or paying for something that they didn't need but got for no reason except that some sales tech made a decision. So it's in my deep down, I believe that MeasureQuick it helps create the most ethical outcomes for everybody involved, and because I don't believe that it's the second largest investment that most homeowners will ever make in their lives. So there's the house, there's a car, and there's the HVAC system. To get a proper one done, that's between 10 to 30 grand. And so mini splits are slightly different, but just in general, yeah, it can get very expensive. And so you need to know that it's done correctly the first time, and that's what MeasureQuick is.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I can zoom. It locks in on your face.
Yeah, it does the tracking.
Move it around. I use the app. That's a game changer.
Yeah, the newer ones are a lot smoother in the way that they operate. But like, dude, I would, if you get to the point where you're doing more of these interviews, just go with the like
Yeah, I
this
know.
guy.
That's so cool.
Because
I
then
really
you can
like
keep your
that.
phone to do phone, like you can use it as a second camera if you want, but it's just the fact that it's you just kind of like MeasureQuick. Now you don't have all those extra kind of setup steps to get that going, and it's so light.
Still tracking.
This is huge.
I'm like moving and it's still like, where is
Yeah.
he? Where is he?
Yeah. Again, I don't know if it's given you the option to update the firmware in that. So in the app, you can go into the settings in the app, and then you can do a check firmware, because the new firmware ends up making the motor movements a little bit smoother.
I see.
Yeah.
Great. Well,
And
thanks.
sometimes it doesn't.
Thank you for the loan of the electricity.
Good
Yeah, I got it to 99%.
for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I'll come back. Let me think of something. And my electrical readings are going.
I'm gonna sign.
It would capture them.
Who is
Yeah,
this
it would capture
for?
them until
Jim.
I walked out of range of my electrical meter.
Yeah, because Jim Bergman's about
And then
to
walk back
go into some
and
more
it's
chemo.
gone.
Which meter?
Oh.
The 480, Philips 480. Now, it's fixed now. Again, it's fixed now. I don't know why, but before I even sent an email, it was already fixed. So I hate it, but I have to. Outdoor, you capture your readings again because you try to work for it. Capture. Yes. You go back and change anything. You got to redo your outdoor life. And especially if you're testing two different links because there's two different IP addresses. One is for.
So is it just on a timer, or is that? Okay. Like you want to lock out something.
Go, brother.
Yeah.
Well, no, you can go in and see if it's just cold outside.
Yeah.
We're able to set.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good. I wanted to know if I could interview you for my
I'm sorry?
my vlog, a video blog.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not very good at this stuff. So
No, that's
you have to
okay.
forgive
Where are
me.
you from? Corbett.
Nice to meet you. I've seen your show.
Awesome. Thanks. Are you a contractor?
I am a contractor.
Great.
Yeah.
Is that your company?
It is my company.
Awesome.
Yes.
Do you know that I have a minority training scholarship?
I did not know that.
Okay.
Do I
It's-
look like a minority?
You're a woman. So yes. It's the only people it doesn't apply to is white men. And I don't say that a whole lot at shows like this
My
because like
husband's not
obviously.
even a white man.
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, if you're interested, it includes I'll give you a card here so you can apply if you want to. But it's at the website there.
And we have somebody in common. I finished my BPI training.
Oh yeah?
And Dolores.
I love Dolores. Is she still with Mike?
Yeah, she talks about my husband.
Okay,
My
all right.
ex-husband.
Okay, all right, cool,
So,
awesome.
I guess that's yes.
Yeah, so she ran the training then?
Yeah, she said that he's kind of retired. But she was talking, because she was talking about the museum in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Where she set up a blower door where you guys were.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
The
Yeah,
old
God.
house.
Yes.
She's a hoot.
This setting up this camera today reminded me of making the show, and it's just like, oh God, making that show. That was the day we ran both cameras, and Mike and Dolores ran our childcare for us.
Oh, they
and held
did?
the camera at certain points. And stuff.
How did you meet Dolores?
Mike, I went to Mike's training center, and I met Dolores through Mike.
Uh-huh.
What would you like to talk about?
Okay. Well,
Do you want to be together on this? You doing selfie style?
I'm trying to get my machine to work. So
Yeah,
forgive
I
me
have
for a
one of those
second. It's
too.
when it does the auto track, it doesn't want to turn off, so it just wants to talk to whomever. And okay. Oh, because I did.